Welcome to another Tableau tutorial video. I'm Weston Palmer. If you find these videos helpful, consider supporting me through Patreon. This is episode 6 of the capital project management dashboard that we've been building. Previous episodes, we've built all the visuals, and now we're going to be building the dashboard. And I'm going to just walk you through. I did a bunch of formatting offline, so it may be different if you've watched some of those other episodes. So let's go ahead and get started with the dashboard. One of the first things you're going to run into is the size. Now, if I've got a widescreen monitor, so I go usually 1875 by 975. You run into some issues if people have laptops. So kind of understand who your customers are. You may want to put something together. I usually do fixed because that way you know what you're seeing is what other people are going to see. For this example though, just so to make it easier on myself, I'm going to select automatic. Usually how I start is I bring over a vertical container. I like to have more of a banner across the top. I know real estate's at a premium, but that's what I like to do. Once you've loaded a container, the thing that I have found helpful is I usually drop a blank item in there as well, just so it has something, I don't know, it just seems to work better. Next thing I'm going to do is, if you can imagine, you're going to have different segments to this vertical bar chart. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in a horizontal. You can see where it's going to be dropping. There's a left there. I think this helps because you already have a blank in there. I'm going to put the horizontal container next up at the top. And I know it's going to be a little confusing. You're not sure what's happening. What I'm doing now is I'm going to bring in an image, and I'm going to bring that into the horizontal container. Okay, it's going to fill the whole thing because I didn't put a blank container in there. And you can see at the bottom, there's a little strip of white that's not being captured. So I'm going to go insert an image file. I'm going to go choose it. And I've already navigated to it. I just didn't want to show you what my things look like. And we're going to have it fit the image. I don't want to center it right yet. So I've chosen it. I'm going to click OK. And so now we have a big screen item there. And that's okay for now. I'm going to just shrink it up a bit. Now, one other thing that I'm going to do, I'm not sure how this is going to play out, but I want to put a little more color in the background. The layout you're going to find is your friend. You can see it starts off with tiled. This is the vertical we added. And we have a horizontal, and then below the horizontal we have this blank. And if you select it, you can see there's the blank. So I'm going to actually select the tiled, and I want to change the background to a darker blue. Okay. And this will be nice when we add the visuals. It'll give some natural borders. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab text, and you can see there's where it's going to load in the horizontal, the little shaded box. Or here, I'm going to put it under the vertical, under the icon. I actually want to move it over. It's a little screwy, but this is the horizontal container on the far right side. So that's where I want it. So I'm going to pop this up. And let's just do this ahead of time. I'm just going to make this a size 15. Blue. Bold, I'm going to say. Alright, so that was a little painful. I'm going to just slide this over a ways. It's going to be there. I want to change this actually to this background. So I'm going to come to the layout, and we're going to change its none now. So we actually want to change it, as an odd as it sounds, we're going to change this to white. And you'll notice that there's some bars around there. There's some color bars. We don't want that. So we're going to come again, select the text, and we're going to get rid of all of them. We'll just bring them all. That's the outer. Now you can see that the color went away. We're going to do the same thing with this image. This is the outer padding. We're going to make the padding go away. Okay, not sure why. Well, that's not the point of this whole thing. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to just take the timeline and I'm just going to drop that in. It's going to take a second to grind away. And remember, we still have this blank object. So I'm just going to remove that. And so now we've got this. We're going to go ahead and format this whole layout here. We're going to change this whole thing to white. Actually, what we'll do is let's undo that. Here's another thing that you can do instead. We're going to format the title, and you have a shading here option. Let's shade just the title. And what that'll do is it'll give you that nice thin blue line that I like. We got all the filters over here. We don't need all of these. We're just going to get rid of some of these here. You can kind of figure that out by if you're looking at the... Get rid of that. Now some of these you're probably going to want, and so this is one thing I often do is change this to drop down. You'll see I've seen this on some of my other videos. So apologize, you're going to get this is in the real life. And actually I'm going to leave that one alone. Meaning I'm not going to go customize it, saying you have to allow. Usually I do this show apply all button. It's really handy. Now the other thing I like to do is I don't want all this color going up to the top, so that gets a little bit tricky. It might be best, in this case, I'm going to change this to all white as well. And what I'm going to want to do is I want to make that right here along the left hand side. So although this is, let's take a look at the layout. You can see that it's a horizontal, it's just at the top, and then it's just one big box here. What I want to do is I want to make this another horizontal so I can have two items side by side, this timeline visual and then all of these filters. So I'm going to come over here, grab the horizontal, drop that right in the middle. Seems to work better if you drop it in the middle. Then I'm going to grab this visual and just drop it in. I'm just left clicking and letting go. Now I'm going to grab this one. I'm going to drag it over, and you can see by the little gray bar where it's going to drop. And now that gets rid of that gray thing there. You could put another visual underneath here. And let's see, what one do we have? And maybe we might do that. We might do that just because this is kind of big and we might not want all of it here. Let's put that over there. And we're going to make this a little bit wider. And then we're going to make this this is a vertical. And we're actually going to drop a horizontal into here. And we're going to drop in the project count by status. And we're going to drop in the broad buckets. And you'll notice that it's a little bit tight. And so what we're going to do is we're going to widen this out a little bit, narrow this in so they have a little more room. And I'm going to pull this up so that the axes align. Still surprised that didn't work. I'm going to hide that. Come in here, edit this. I've rewritten that one. I'm just going to make it a little bit smaller so it's not as pronounced. Maybe it'll give us some more room. We'll come over here, click OK. We're going to just narrow this one down to 12, I think was what we had. And still it's not a lot of space, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually just drop it in like this. We're going to probably change that. Now what you don't see, and it's going to screw things up possibly down the road, is I should have that. Oh, I guess I don't have it. I was thinking that the horizontal container was still there. And what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to put these all on a horizontal container so the filters are side by side. It'll give me a little more space. And what you're finding is that a lot of the time you're playing around with location to try and get more space so one visual or another is more has a more prominent place. Oops. Okay, so that's an issue. Trying to figure out what's happening there. Don't know what happened there. And then you can move these around if you want. Yeah, so these boxes don't have to be quite as big now. You could actually maybe even widen this a little bit. And now that we've got these other boxes over here, you might say project status instead of timeline. One thing I did not do, and I should have done, I apologize. So we're going to call this down here project status, or maybe we'll call it summary status. And we're going to duplicate this. And the reason I do that is because oftentimes trying to get the logo and this top part right is sometimes a bit of a hassle. And so actually we're going to come here. Where's the horizontal? That's the timeline. Okay, we're going to right click this horizontal and we're just going to remove from dashboard. It's going to get rid of all the containers, and that's fine because we've got new ones that we want to put in. Got that. Start, delay, finish. Let's see here. I'm thinking I want some things side by side, so we're going to drop the horizontal. Of the charts, this one speaks to me more. We don't need this container because it's already labeled, or it's, the colors align with the axes. And now we've got budget performance and start, delay, histogram. And so I'm going to do another one of those chart. Oh, we have to change this up here. So we need to format the title so we can get the white shading. And then we're going to, okay, did you notice that on this other one? Why is there no line here? And that's because I made this whole container background white. And so that even though there's a little line there, it's showing up as white. So it doesn't come through. So we've got a couple here. Okay, I'm going to just drop, I'm going to do another vertical container off to the side here. Very similar. So we're going to start with the delay histogram on top, finish delay distribution on the bottom. Maybe. And we're going to change this. We're going to format this so that this is white again, so you get that little, it's really amazing. Just that little bit of definition really helps the dashboard kind of pop and the messages pop. Okay. Now if I got ambitious, I could pick one of these and it would filter one of these over here or highlight it. I don't know if I'm going to do that. Right here. We could add some filters if we wanted. I'm not going to do that. Maybe I'll do that offline. Because what my plan is to put this, what is this, project delays, and then I'm going to call this one manager performance. Put this out on my public profile so you can take a look and allow you to hopefully that's not being used. And once again, we'll come over here to layout, horizontal, and we'll just delete that, or remove it, sorry, because that will remove not just the container. Sometimes, like in here, you've got all this long line. So what you can do, you want to keep that probably, which one of these? We can probably, if you got horizontals and horizontals that don't have anything, you can remove those and get rid of some of this stuff that's superfluous. It's not adding anything. And then we'll just throw up project manager. And that's a small one. And because it's small, I might throw in the budget management as well. And we'll just get rid of this whole container. Format title. And actually, what I might also do, we have to do this one up here. Is you could put those down here on the bottom. Let's see, that's what maybe I'll do. No. Yeah, I will. It's a little bit longer, but you know, those of you who are interested will maybe like to see it, and those who aren't, we don't have to. And on this one, I will do some dashboard actions for this workbook. No, just for this sheet. We're going to add an action. We're going to add, let's add a filter. And on the performance up here, we want it just to filter on the manager. Oh, no, it's got to be manager performance. It has to be on a select. The target sheets are going to be not the management performance. But then after we unselect it, we're going to show all. And we'll see how this works. It should work. So now if we're going to select Darren Starr, it filters out his projects. So if we count, he should have 9, 12, 13 projects. He's got 13 projects, and you can see, although for the most part he was on budget, there was one out here that was way under budget. So that seems odd to me. We'd want to research that. In terms of how many times is he on schedule, it looks like he's got only 4 that are days late. So what does this say here? 13 or 38% were completed within schedule. So you can see down here 4 were completed on schedule. So that makes sense. And so this gives you a quick way of a little bit interrogating a little more information. Here's Jillian's, and now you can start to see how she's doing. 7 projects, 7, 7. How is she done here? These are under forecast, so it looks like she's doing pretty good, which is consistent with up here where it says 100% of projects are completed within forecast. 57 on this end, and you can see where they're at. And even the one that's late is only 3 months late versus some of those were 400. Now, if I were to, let's see here, I might get rid of these now because this isn't relevant. I mean, we don't want to have it on multiple places. So we'll just Remove that. And you're starting to see kind of how this thing's piecing together. Hopefully this makes a little bit of sense to you. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to actually create filters on these so you can filter them and you can see where the schedules are. So we'll do that and then we'll call it good. For this worksheet, we're going to add an action. We're going to add a filter. All right. And we're going to, let's see here. You have to select it and it will impact timeline, and we'll see what happens here. I should rename it, but okay, so design, we'll select 4. There's 4 projects here. Didn't filter down here. Gonna unselect that. Oh, I must not have the filter right. This is the second one. Oh, there we go. We're going to show all values. And let's have a filter on the other projects as well. Well, what this is going to do is it's only going to filter this down to 1. And the way you would get around it is you just add another filter up here. We're going to say project. So you had multiple filters. So now if you come in here, as soon as it says OK, we're going to look at on hold, which projects are on hold, and how they've fallen within budget. Unselect it, they all pop back up. All right, there you go. Love to hear what your thoughts are. Hope this helps. Thanks for watching. I hope you'll subscribe and turn on notifications so you know when new videos are released. Check out some of these other videos I think you'll find helpful.